So welcome to the village of Provenance. I'm Steve Oubre. I'm the master planner, town architect. You know, when you start to think about Provenance as a development, you have to really understand the dynamics of this, and it's very complicated. In 2004, I was approached by a development group from Shreveport who had an interest in investing in real estate in the Baton Rouge area, and they contacted us because we had been involved, or were involved at that time, in the creation of several, what was referred to and is today, traditional neighborhood developments. They were a very animated group. They were very excited about the possibilities. And in the conversation, Bill Anderson said, you know, it sounds like what you've created is really valuable for the community that it falls within. And it resonated with him, and said, I'll have to get back to you. And I'm thinking maybe the interview and the discussion didn't go very well. Within 2 days, I got a call back, and Mr. Anderson had made a decision that the development of a traditional neighborhood development had so many valuable assets. And being a very philanthropic person for Shreveport, he decided, why not do it in Shreveport? Well, it was set. We were ready to go. Our team visited several properties within the region. This particular property had so many different assets. It included old post oaks that were hundreds of years old. It was fully treed. Lots of terrain, beautiful water features that were natural at the time. So it was our number one choice. Fast forward in 2004, in the fall, we conducted a community-wide charrette. It was attended by over 150 people. The amount of excitement was infectious. It was just incredible. Normally, when a T&D is introduced to a community, the planning and zoning commissions generally don't allow it. We violate as many as 115 of their typical ordinances. It didn't happen here that way. The community was welcoming. It was open-armed. There were issues, but they were willing to work through those, and it happened pretty quickly. And what you see and experience here today is a result of that positive thinking back then. What we have here is what the citizens of Shreveport said they wanted and liked. You know, it's a southern village. It's about the architecture of Shreveport. The origin of Shreveport's architecture is exemplified in this entire project in varying ways, in varying time frames. I almost started crying because this is absolutely a stunning place. It's been done right. That's not the norm. In traditional neighborhood developments all over the country, typically what happens is people are very invigorated by the concept. The developer is as well. They start it off, and then they lose interest and it starts to fall off. What's happened here is just the opposite. Their interest has peaked, and it's getting better than it was in the early stages, which is a very, very high level of finish out. So it's exciting to be here. It's exciting to be a part of it. So, you know, the origin of this, the traditional neighborhood development. In the South, it is something that is endeared. People in the South love living in a community, living in a place where they know one another, where they can grow old in place, where the children have friends in the neighborhood. I was driving early this morning and I saw dozens of people of all ages walking through this neighborhood. That is not an accident. It was by design. Every street in this project was considered for its first, movement of the pedestrian, and second, how does the automobile travel through here? They're uncomfortable. People who drive in traditional neighborhood developments complain all the time. Success. It worked. We don't want people driving fast. We want them going very slow so that a 4-year-old child might want to walk across the street to the park. That happens regularly here. And so when I come through Provenance, I see the successes that were planted in 2004. That's a long time ago. The beauty is that it is getting better with age. I drove around a number of the conventional suburban projects that surround Provenance. They have depleted in value since we were here in 2004. Provenance is only increasing. It's a piece of art. It is something that is treasured, and as it matures, it will increase in value, and I'm excited about that. When you come into Provenance, it's immediately appreciated that there is something different here. Part of it is the fact that you're driving into a small town center, which is about 5 minutes, which is 1,300 feet from 75% of the residents in here. People can walk to the town center, but in doing so, they're walking past a multiplicity of housing types. There's townhouses here, there's cottages here, there are live-work units here, there are mansions here, all intermixed. Most of the houses, if not a large percentage, have front porches. Front porches promote socialization. Coded within the development of Provenance's guidelines is the requirement for the engagement of the house to the pedestrian. So we included front porches. Front porches are a social tool that allow people to sit out, enjoy the climate that we have here, and also to visit and learn who their neighbors are because they see them day in and day out. The fact that we have sidewalks, the fact that we have tree-lined streets create a zone for pedestrians that in the South is functional. It's not just beautiful, it creates shade for us. It also protects the pedestrian from the automobile. If it's done well, the shade of the trees also slows the traffic down. Closure will create an amount of hesitation for a driver. If you ever drive through a tunnel, your natural human instinct is to slow down. We've created beautiful tunnels, and it's existing, and it's taking place. Part of the reason we kept a lot of the trees was because we wanted to have an immediate closure in the first phases, and it's hugely successful. It's more successful in the summer because the leaves begin to fill in, but it is very successful with the structure of the trees. And that is what I believe to be one of the most successful pieces of Provenance. When you build buildings that respond to the urban, the public zone in a way that is a social kind of engagement, it creates a more efficient use of land, which allows us to do the things we've done here in the natural green space. We create public spaces. We create a meaningful environment that helps us globally from a green perspective. And that's a big thing for us. When I got into the traditional neighborhood development process, I was my first quarter of my career, I practiced architecture as everyone did. We just built, we didn't give much concern to the land. In my final quarter, I started to focus more on understanding how can I contribute back to the culture and to the world. It's very important to me now that everything I do be a positive contribution and not taking away. And that's the way we approach our design work. There's a saying that our former Surgeon General Jocelyn Elders once said, "Societies grow great when old men and old women plant trees whose shade they will never see." The Andersons have done that. This is the seed. I hope and pray that Provenance contributes to the community of Shreveport in a way that turns the model of development toward this kind of resilient idea.